Hi, welcome to the Home of Real Leadership. And my guest today, well, needs no introduction. If you've heard of Career Masterclass, then you'll know everything about the wonderful Bukola Adisa, and she joins us today. If I was going to introduce Bukola, I would take up the whole of the 13 minutes because I don't think I've heard such an inspiring, incredible success story for a long time. This is somebody who cares passionately about the disadvantaged, those that could have more opportunities, and in her brilliant word, and the underserved, which I think is a great word. So what I'll do is I'll just hand over to Bukola to give a brief introduction, and then Bukola is going to share her 3 top tips on how to be more courageous, how to have more courage. Bukola, a really warm welcome to you.
Thank you, David. Thank you so much for having me. Hi, my name is Bukola Adisa, and as David said, I am the founder and CEO of Career Masterclass. And Career Masterclass is a career development platform and an organization that exists to democratize career growth. It was started out of real life lived experiences of us, the founders, of being immigrants to the UK and having to navigate the very tricky terrains of trying to build a career in the United Kingdom as immigrants and as Black women. And based on the challenges that we faced, we became really passionate in ensuring that other people didn't have to navigate or their journey should be at least easier than we had it. So that's why we started Career Masterclass. My background is in banking. I've held senior roles in organizations such as Barclays, JP Morgan, HSBC, and NatWest Bank. But thank you so much for having me, David. It's great to be here.
Bukola, thank you very much for that fantastic introduction. A very humble introduction, I have to say, given what I know you have actually achieved yourself. And I know, Bukola, not just for yourself, it's all about other people with regard to you. So Bukola, what we'd love to hear are your top 3 tips. And as always, everyone watching, Bukola had no notice whatsoever of this. No notice at all. So do not think, oh, she's had 2 weeks to prepare. This is purely, what would you like to, the only question I've asked Bukola is, what would you like to share 3 pieces of advice on? And she said, courage. And I will particularly say this today. Please listen to what Bukola says and do what she says, because if you don't, it's merely a work of fiction. Whereas if you give it a go, then, I mean, I don't know Career Masterclass that well. I've been on the site a few times. I've got so much inspiration for it. Bukola, please share your 3 top tips. Over to you.
Thank you, David, and thank you for not giving me any inkling because I actually have not prepared this. So I'm just going to speak from my heart, as usual. Courage is very important to me. If I were to plot my journey and what has been instrumental to getting me here, I would always mention 2 things. I mentioned courage and I mentioned resilience. And those 2 things, even though they're not the same, they are very, very intertwined. In the journey that I've been on as a mother, as a working woman, now as a business owner and entrepreneur, I have had to draw on the reserves of courage that I didn't even think I had to get me through difficult times. So my first advice when it comes to courage is you have it in you to be courageous. So courage is not something that is the preserve of people that are extroverted or that have bubbly personalities. Every single one of us, including you who is watching, every single one of us have immense reserves of courage in us. You just need to look down deep within you and bring it out. So you have it within you to be courageous. You don't have to be, like I said, you don't have to be extroverted. You don't have to be a bubbly personality, or you don't have to have had previous experience of courage. So I don't necessarily believe that, the more you've had experience of being courageous, then being courageous is the preserve of those people. Anybody at any time can draw up, can call upon the reserves of courage that's on the inside of them, and they can apply it to any situation. That's the first thing. You have it in you to be courageous. So when next you are faced with a situation that requires boldness and courage, look within you and draw it out. The second thing I want to say is, just like confidence breeds more confidence, courage breeds more courage. It is a skill. It is a muscle. It's like when you work out, that muscle gets stronger. And so that's why you need to start on your courageous journey today. If I look at what I'm doing now, so I was saying to David earlier, I'm in the process of raising money for Career Masterclass. We're crowdfunding. That requires an immense amount of courage, especially as the process makes you feel, vulnerable and exposed. You're exposing your business, your baby, this baby I've incubated for the past 6 years. You're exposing it to the world, and somebody may troll me. Somebody may say your valuation is rubbish, or another company is doing this kind of thing. But I'm having to believe so much in what I'm doing that I'm willing to take the risk and to be courageous. And the reason why I'm able to be courageous to take this step is because in the past, I've had to be courageous in other little things. I've had to be courageous in moving to this country straight out of university in Nigeria when I was 23. I've had to be courageous in changing roles many times. I've had to be courageous in moving industries. I've had to exhibit different types of courage at different times in my life. And that has set me up for being able to exhibit this big thing that is now requiring immense reserves of courage from me. And I know enough, I'm mature enough to know that this is not the last time in my life I'm going to have to be courageous. There will be many other challenges, bigger challenges ahead. And that is the way of the world. You're courageous in one thing, you're going to be faced with a bigger challenge. So I'm raising money today. Who knows, in the future, I may have to be courageous about taking my company, public, or I may be courageous in having to exit my company. Who knows? But I know from experience that if you've been courageous before, you have it in you to be courageous again. And your courage would always require more from you. And the third thing I would say about courage is this: whether it doesn't matter whether you fail or you succeed, the most important thing is that you take a step out and you do what is risky. One of my mentors says something that if you try, you may succeed. But if you try, you may fail. No, if you don't try, you may fail. But no, if you try, you may fail. But if you don't try, you will definitely fail. Sorry, I messed that up. That if you try, you may fail. But if you do not try, you will definitely fail. And that is the thing, that is the mantra I live by. That, it doesn't matter whether I succeed or I fail. The most important thing is I take that step and I'm able to draw up on courage. And how do you draw up on courage? I know this is out of the three, but I just want to leave you some practical tips because, some of you may be wondering, oh, Bukola, that all sounds nice, but how do I exhibit courage? I will just share three quick things before I hand back over to David. The first one is, like I said, practice in the little things. So for instance, if you are the type that is shy and, speaking in public is like the worst thing that could absolutely ever happen to you, try, small acts of courage. I call them small courageous acts. Speak to 5 people and get 5 people together on a Zoom call, present to them. And you will find that when you succeed in that you will not die, and I promise you won't die, then you can do it again the next time and the next time. And that is how you conquer mountains. You take a step today, tomorrow you've conquered Everest. That's the way it works. The second way in which you can be courageous is to lean on people around you. The world is a global village, and I personally believe that there are more good people in the world than bad. There are people out there that want to support you. If you have a friend that seems to do amazing things, or even like your spouse, your family, your husband, your wife, your children, or your siblings, lean on them. Some of the most courageous acts I've taken in my life has been because I've had people behind me, supporting me and pushing me and saying, you know what, I'll hold your hand, we'll do it together. Let's do this. You can do it, Bukola. And the third thing and the last thing is remind yourself of how you have felt when you have succeeded. So draw upon those feelings, visualize, what that success will look like. Even, put yourself in how you feel, the sights, the sounds. If you are able to, of what would it look like if I was actually able to take the step of courage, this courageous step, and it succeeded, and then visualize that. So for that, what does it mean? So if you are stuck in a role, for instance, and if you are courageous enough to apply for that role, for a better role, Visualize what that's, working in a new company will do to you, to your confidence. How having more money, what would that do to your family? Just visualize that, and that would help you be more courageous. I hope this has been really helpful. Thank you so much, David, for having me. Thank you.
Wow. I mean, gobsmacking. Straight at the camera, not 3, but 6 tips without looking at a note once. Absolutely fantastic. And I'm really encouraged now to ask you 3 very quick fire questions, if that's okay.
Cool.
Okay.
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, the first one. What's been your biggest challenge? Really briefly, what's been your biggest challenge?
Oh, that's a tough one. My biggest challenge was actually leaving my very well paid banking role to work on Career Masterclass full time, because I was stepping out of my comfort zone. And that is also, I think, one of the most courageous acts I have done ever.
So would you include that as your biggest achievement as well?
I think on the flip side is also my biggest achievement. It makes me incredibly proud. The work that we do every day, that makes me so proud.
Fantastic. And what's the biggest skill that you have?
Oh, I'm a people person. I think I'm able to build, sustain, and nurture very valuable connections and networks. I think that's my biggest skill. That's my most valuable skill. The fact that I connect with people easily, and I'm able to nurture and sustain very valuable relationships. That's my biggest skill. And my second biggest skill is I'm a good presenter, I think.
Well, you are. You're fantastic. I mean, put me to shade every time today. You are a living, breathing, inspiring role model for so many people. You help people who need help. You reach people who other people don't reach, and you let everyone know that they have incredible powers within them. You are a very example of the people we need to come out from the shadows today. Very briefly to finish, please give the URL for Career Masterclass and talk about how people can get involved with investing.
Oh, thank you. So the URL for Career Masterclass is www.careermasterclass.com. And that's where you find us, and you can, sign up or sign yourself up as an individual, or if you're someone with budgets within corporates, you can buy for your team, or link us up with your organization, and we would be happy to have a conversation. As I said, we've started our journey of equity fundraising on Cedars, on the Cedars platform. And the way you can get involved is on cedars.com/career masterclass. And I would love for you to support us on our journey to democratize career growth, so that anybody from anywhere, from whatever background, can build a wildly successful career.
It's fantastic. And fantastic. I assume you just don't write anything down. Ladies and gentlemen, please join with me and say thank you very, very much, Bukola, for joining us today.
Thank you so much. I've had fun. It's been great doing this. Thank
Great.
you.
Okay.